Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com, and this is episode 189 of Photo Critiques. And in this episode, I'm pleased to critique the photography of Ashley Gardner. Ashley sent me in some really nice shots. This first one's a great pose, very cute, and focus is great. You guys know by now who have watched these critiques. I always say when you're photographing a person or even an animal, always focus on the eyes. And Ashley did a great job here. You can see the eyes are in perfect focus. A couple things strike me right off at looking at the shot though. It's a little underexposed. As you can see, even though it's in black and white, the skin is kind of muddy, a little too dark gray. So I think it's maybe, I don't know, maybe half a stop underexposed. So we'll just bring exposure up a little bit. Now you'd prefer to get this right in camera, but if you don't, you could always use Lightroom and rescue it. And there's exactly 1/2 stop more exposure, and I think it's a lot better. As you look at it, there's before, there's after. So a little more exposure. Now the second thing I always talk about is catch lights in eyes. Now looking at his eyes, it looks like you might have used on-camera flash to use a little fill flash, because there's very small catch lights in there. And that's nice, but really a bigger catch light would really make this come alive. So if you ever could, if you have an umbrella or a softbox, anything like that, and it would give a bigger catch light in the eyes. Now I could probably try to simulate that in Lightroom. It usually doesn't work, but that doesn't mean I'm afraid to try. Let's try here. We'll put one there. And we'll put one there. Now these is even smaller probably than I suggest that you'd like to have in the eyes. Try maybe like right around there. It's really hard to do with Lightroom. Let me close the brush down. And there's before, after, before, after. Okay, so remember that. Try to get some catch lights in the eyes, and try to get exposure right in camera. I think you're just a little bit underexposed here. This shot's very cute too, but this one is underexposed too. You can see it's very dark. Looks like the light was coming from this direction. Whenever we're lighting babies and children and stuff, we usually like to have the light flat. So like coming right into the baby's face from the camera area, just above camera usually. And so if you could, you know, I don't know if your flash fired on this. I don't think it did. It looks like this is just light that's in the room. You know, so if you had the flash come on flat on the baby, it would brighten his face or her face a little bit, and you get some better, more significant catch lights. These catch lights here are kind of odd. There's one in the lower left of the baby's left-hand eye, and one in the lower right of the right-hand's baby eye, and we prefer to have them more symmetrical placed, you know, in the eye, more in the middle. So that's that. If you don't want to use a flash, or if it was a real bright room, you have a reflector. A reflector would work. It looks like maybe the window was open over on this side, or you know, drapes were open. You use a reflector to reflect some light back in the baby's face. It would soften this shadow and soften this kind of shadow over here, and it would give more light in the face and would give some significant catch lights. So keep that in mind. The last thing I want to mention is babies always have this dry skin, and usually you could just go in Lightroom and you could get rid of that with the spot removal tool. And I would suggest you take the time to do it. It will just look better. And if you have Photoshop, Photoshop is content aware. You know, they have cloning and you know, tools to get rid of these a lot easier and faster, and probably better in Photoshop. But either way, give it a try. I just did real quick and took a few off. You can see there's before and there's after. I took just a few of those off. So keep that in mind. Remember to do that too when you know, to finish your portrait. The next few shots of animals were real small, so I had to blow them up so we could see them in the video. So whenever I do that, of course, we lose resolution. So I can't really tell if the eyes were in perfect focus on this shot. It looks like they were though, and it looks like it's a pretty nice shot. We typically do this sometimes with animals, particularly ones with long faces like horses and some type of deer. We do stuff like this where we get the shot of the eyes and perhaps the ears. And this is a cool shot. You know, it's very well done. This shot here, it's a sample right across. I'm not sure why. It's a tough shot to do. It looks like it was an overcast day, so the light wasn't very good. The tiger is behind these rocks, so we really can't see him or her very well, you know, being back behind the rocks. And I'm not sure about focus because of the, I had to blow it up. This shot here, it's kind of a cute idea. I see the kind of, it's got his mouth open, eyes closed, all the flies on him. But what we have here is the antlers are going off the frame, and the antlers are kind of like a leading line. As we're looking at them, our eyes will go up and with the antlers, and we're not seeing the end of them. We can't resolve on the end of the antlers, so you really have to back up. But this is where it gets tricky. You're going to back up and get all the antlers in. You might cut this guy off at the knees, and that won't look right either. So that's why wildlife photographers make a lot of money, is because they really work the scene for days, months sometimes, to really get some great shots. So on this one here, it might, because he's standing front to you, it might have been better to shoot vertically and to get him from a little space under his front hooves to a little space above his antlers. And then I think it would have been a stronger shot. It's a nice shot. This selective color, we have some significant catch lights here. This is underexposed still. Now maybe you want that way. That, you know, this is kind of an art shot, if you know. So it's not really, unless it's a, you know, a shot for Maybelline or something. It's really an art shot. So you know, if you want the skin kind of underexposed like that, that's fine. But it's a nice shot. You did a nice job. Focus is great. Focus is the most important thing, just about on any shot. You rarely will find a shot that looks compelling that is out of focus. So, you know, the first thing you always got to make sure that you nail is focus. And Ashley's doing a great job on all these shots. This shot here, again, you know, it's kind of an art shot. Just, you know, shot of a cup of coffee and some cream over here, kind of on an angle. Creamer is cut off. You know, it's okay. It's an art shot. It's something that I can't really critique. It's in the eye of the beholder, and usually it's so subjective. Anyone that looks at it, either one's going to say that's really a great shot, or someone else might look at it and go, it's stupid, you know. And I'm not saying I think this is stupid. I look at it from a technical point of view, and I think it's a great shot. It's really well done. This is a shot, we typically do this when I was a wedding photographer. This was kind of a shot a lot of brides wanted, and we'd take the wedding bands and we'd put them in usually a book of the book that had the it's escaping me now, the wedding vows, would have the vows in it. I don't think this is a wedding vow book because they're talking about thighs here and stuff like that. So this is not a wedding vow book, I don't believe. But anyways, I digress. So it's a common thing. What I would suggest you try doing, this is a nice shot though, is have the wedding band stand straight up and down inside of the book, and have it backlit so that the shadow forms in front of the ring. So if you have this ring like here and it's standing vertically, and then you have it lit coming down this way, so the light is coming from the back of the book going towards the front of the book, you'll have this heart below the ring and it would be unobscured. So try that. Also, I've always seen these shots perfectly centered, so you don't have to worry about rule of thirds or having anything like that. You'd want it right in the middle, so the wedding band doesn't necessarily have to be right in the middle vertically, but horizontally, yes. So you'd want it right here, in horizontally in the middle. Get rid of that, and then I think, you know. So experiment, try it different ways, and I think your f-stop was fine. f/5.6. You have some blur in here, which is good, and I think that's fine. Oops, didn't want to do that. I think that might be the last one. Yep. All right, excuse all my mismoves on that one. That's a really nice, thank you, Ashley. Very well done. Really enjoyed doing critiquing your photos. Thank you for sharing them with us, and I'd like to thank everyone that watches all my videos, even when I mumble, bumble, and stumble through them like I just did this one. Thank you very much. You guys have time, go over to my website, anthonymorganti.com. I have all that photography stuff over there you can watch. And go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate that. And that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.